Welcome. We're overdue for a dev blog update, especially if this is a year-end review. We're almost at the end of January. And I guess it's just, I wasn't sure what I wanted to say in this video. I've always wanted the updates to speak for themselves, because I know with game development, it's very easy to put lots of ideas out there, or to make a huge roadmap. And yeah, talk is cheap, so I really want updates to speak for the game. But we did an update. We did a year-end video last year. Makes sense to do it this year. And I thought I'd just talk about some of the numbers and the recent updates and also goals for this year. I'm looking up the updates this year. So, okay, with the first one that was Caves, all the way back in January. I guess before that we had this unnamed, we had some unnamed ones too. Oh no, that's 2021. Yes, we had Caves starting in 2023. Wow, time goes by fast. Caves, botany, villages, added music, temple dungeons, wilderness danger, enchanting, monster traits. A lot of updates this year. Is it as much as I wanted? No. I imagined getting a little further in the story and some more skills in. But overall, I'd say it's a good year. I'd say, like, just looking at the patch notes, the theme for me this year is a strong update, setting a foundation, but not quite finished. And what do I mean by that? If we look at this cave update, for example, with how much I've learned since I've made this, there's a lot more I'd like to add. So it's like a good foundation. It's a place. It's a good location. Quests can happen here. Things can happen. It's a challenge. I would love, though, to add like a few new monster types, a few new interesting puzzles, for example, to caves. Same thing with Druid Villages this year. They look great. They fit into the game well, but there's no quests yet for the Druid Villages, and they're missing some shops and some other things, some more content to make this place more meaningful to meet. Enchanting, same story. Enchanting was a great addition, letting players really sink time into the game if they wanted to go for like those high-end items. But there's only 2 tiers of enchantments. So you got standard enchantments, ancient enchantments. There's a document we have with a whole set of higher tier enchantments, which have on-hit effects and crazier things, which hasn't yet made it. So that was my thinking looking at this list. It's been a good year, a lot of content, fast development. I'm very happy with how things have gone, but also there's like all these little pieces and that I want to add to flesh things out. And that's often like that's the challenge, right? Is like when to stop, when to like revisit something. Because each update I feel like I learned so much, and then like the engine gets enhanced as well, and like more is possible. This latest ability, I mean, yeah, this is 2023 unarmed. Like some of these abilities were building off of code that had been ongoing for the year, and now the engine supports a huge variety of abilities. And like I think when we're ready to start adding all the schools of magic, for example, it'll be pretty darn quick getting a lot of new abilities in game, like boom, 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 all the magic, which you can see down here in the roadmap. So just looking at like what's checked off on the roadmap, it actually wasn't a huge number this year, but in terms of like momentum and the stability and features needed, it's looking really good. Yeah, I guess we could maybe if I'm going to be doing these videos, it might make more sense to go into like a few in-depth videos talking about some topics or like features specifically rather than talking through everything today. Probably if you're watching this, what you're more interested in is some of the numbers. And you probably have a good idea if you've seen my last couple of videos, just we had a good year. And moving here to sales, there was that huge jump. We got the big attention on YouTube. So that actually came out to over 600 sales that day, which is insane. So many, it kind of squashed all of their numbers by relationship. But it was a pretty good year. Like I was happy. Like they were trickling in one a day, a few a day. That builds up fast. And even after this huge jump from that YouTube publicity, it's very healthy numbers where we're like between 10 to 20 a day sales. And for me, that's about originally my goal. I knew if I could get around 10 to 20-ish sales a day, this would be sustainable for me financially. And with this huge jump, like that is basically put me in the spot. I can pay back investors, pay for all the music, pay for all the art, And if trends continue, which I think they will, work on this sustainably, which is amazing. And so that comes out to this year, 3,000 sales. 3,000 sales. And here you can see like the breakdown for some of the countries. And we can also look at playtime. So we're averaging now. So this is playtime graph, like how much time players are spent in game or how many people played per day over the last year. Similar story with a huge peak. Average players per day is around, so there's 19 right now at this moment playing. Lifetime average daily active users, so 26 active a day on average, which is crazy. And also average daily peak concurrent users, maximum daily peak concurrent. So this bit here is looking at it just this year. So we had one day where there's 650 users. Average daily active users, that's the big number there, 28, which to my mind is a really healthy number. Like the game is still in early access, and I know like a lot of players are tentative for early access games, so that's like the amount of attention it's getting. It's awesome, and it means it means I get to work on more game, which is what I always wanted. So I'm very happy and I'm very thankful. But like I would love to say like here's the goals last year and like make this video be like here's how we did and like check compare. But the truth is that way of development I'm finding of just saying like here's the features I want to do, it's not totally honest, and it's not it doesn't always make sense. Like a lot of these updates, there's stuff going on behind the scenes why they made a lot of sense. There is things that engine work that need to be done, and then these features basically are an excuse to get that finished in game. Like this machinist, adding the machinist and all these enhancements to the dungeon is making room for more potential dungeons and like more things that can be done in dungeons. So there's kind of like, as a player, you're seeing these features, but kind of from my perspective, I'm seeing like engine work getting like checked off to make room for even more stuff. And now I'd say it's abilities are in a place now where we can just pump them out, and dungeons are getting closer to that, where like every kind of thing I would want to put in a dungeon is now I'm able to quickly support it. Because that's the big hang up in designing content. It's like, oh, I can add a monster. I can add this. I can add this. Oh, but can I make the monster have an AoE attack? Oh, no, I can't. Now I have to spend a day programming that instead of 5 minutes to add a new ability. So in this update, there's like a little line down here, I think. Or is it this one? Lamassu. So gave Lamassu a new multi-target range spike ability. So this is where he can shoot spikes at multiple targets. Well, there's no support for AoE attacks in the engine before here. So this was a big change in terms of the engine, because now any monster can have AoE attacks, but from a player perspective, it's just like one small ability. So that's what I mean. Like there's kind of two stories going on. There's the updates, and then there's like what is supported. And I'm really trying to set this up in a way where it's like everything needed is there, and then we can just like unleash content. We can just start like adding lots of stuff. And so you, the players, are kind of the guinea pigs. 2022, you've been the guinea pigs. But I think, the game plays well. It's fun. I've watched a lot of hours of players playing, and I'm happy with how it plays. More tweaking, more balancing needed. Okay, what did I have I'm looking at the side here. What were my notes? 2022 review. Okay, so in summary, great year. I'm so thankful. Good updates, and I'm going to keep working on it. And just know that there is some sense behind like why these are coming out when they are, and that a lot of engine work is getting groundwork is being laid down. Prioritizing updates. Okay. This is something else I wanted to talk about, because now there's some players that changes things, where I'm now seeing a lot of questions for things like, so we're going to call one type of update. We're going to call a type of update. We're going to call it quality of life / support or something like that. / ease of use. So this is something becoming a bigger deal as there's more players. So these are types of features like UI scaling, support for other languages, other like new options, settings, theme, save file syncing, keyboard support is a big one. So this is one type of feature now, or one type of feature called type 1. And then, so there's another type we'll call type 2. And this is stuff like the new dungeons, like the Gremlin dungeons, Gremlin fortresses I'm working on right now. New dungeons, skills, quests, etc. Hope this is all readable. So if you're wondering what I'm working on now, what I'm thinking about, and how things are going to look leading into 2023, this is kind of in my mind. This has been the new juggling act, which is, oh crap, players who have better monitors than me with high screen density, they need UI scaling really bad. And so these are more and more competing with these. And so like that's become the trade-off. It's like, when do you add another language? Is it when you have 1,000 users? Is it when when's the right moment? Like for me, the languages, for instance, like that makes more sense once a good portion of quests are done, and then I can just send a language file to a translator and have it all done at once. But something for like Steam synchronization and save file syncing, yeah, like they're really nice to have. Not as fun to program, honestly. Like this update, we go back. This one, these ones are still fresh in my mind, so I'm talking about the most recent. We go this save load game. This took so much time rewriting the save system, so much, and it's the kind of thing that's necessary, but it's not fun to program, and it's not really like noticed that much. It's just like you expect it in a modern game for the save file system to be robust and allow all kinds of different saving. But it's not like it's just a ton of work. Oh my gosh. So if I'm talking to you, if all you players are my boss, I'm telling you, don't give me too many. Don't give me too much type 1 in a row, although I know it's important. And I've done some experimenting with UI scaling. That'll probably be soon. And this is the stuff I'm really excited for. And even within this type, there's like the stuff I really want to do. And that's what I hope I get to more this year, where ultimately, like, what is a game? The question comes down to, what kind of experience am I trying to create? Like, how am I connecting to the player? What sort of, what is the player doing? What are they experiencing beyond just thinking about mechanics? And for me, I really want like surprise. I want a surprise. I want wonder. I want that feeling of like feeling of a huge world or strange happenings. So all the monsters and all the procedural generation and all the rooms and like the biomes, all this stuff generating, it's all to create a landscape so that I can throw madness on top of it. And that's what's missing. People complain about the Ravagers. They complain about like the ghosts, and those are two types of things which just appear in the world and add some of that magic. But see, the problem is there's not enough. And so this is something else in my mind. When do we get to the point where like there's enough there where it makes sense to really start adding these layering effects, to really start thinking about how can we permute a dungeon? Even something like, not always about a monster, like it can be a good thing, like a shopkeeper. This like magical shopkeeper can now appear in the dungeon. He'll be in a random room and you can trade with him and buy rare items. Or you find another adventurer and he'll help you temporarily, and he'll join you in that dungeon. Or just like weird and interesting things that can layer and interact with the dungeon and create surprises and emergent behavior. So maybe this is a bit all over the place, but this is my thinking right now. It's players really want this. It's needed. And I'm trying to balance that with these type 2 things, which are more fun. And in this type 2 things, this set of features I'm really excited to get into this year, which is like random layering events. Okay, what else do I have here? Okay, so that's a note on prioritizing updates. Goals this year. Goals. Okay. All right, you want to know the goals? Well, I had set like the original Steam page. If you go to the store page, you go to here, the original date I put here. When will this be done? I think like I've already bumped this a couple times. So I said this year now is the current one. Is that doable? I think it is. We might have to miss a few things in the final version 1.0. I think it is. I think that some of these past updates, like the machinist quest, gave me an idea of how long it takes to program a quest, and the main quest line is all programmed already, so I think it's doable. Like if we consider this year, it would be something like, I don't want to hard commit to things. And that's the problem with goals. But I'll say version 1.0 is doable in 2023, but maybe not. This is the thing. I love my process, which is like, think about like what's most important. Think about what the engine needs. Think about what upcoming content needs. Design an update around that. And it's working really well. But I want to give some more context. We'll say get into Magic. Yeah, people want Magic. All right, so get into Magic. That's definitely for this year. We want to get into the Magic system. I'm really excited to have some cool abilities, something unique. Not just unique, but like different. I'll give you one example. Here's one, like way back when this was all being designed. Where's Magic? So these Magic schools are actually a simplified version from an original lore document I had written about this crazy multiverse of Magic, and I think that had 17 schools. So this is already simplified. Already a whole bunch was cut. But to give you an example, so Tempest Magic, the thought here is, what if other Magic systems have like fire, ice, wind school? Those are all schools. What if we just took all the normal banal Magic that you see everywhere and we just made that one school? It's like fire, ice, wind, all elemental. That's just one school. And that, so like we're not having like the school of ice, the school of fire, the school of light. No, that's all here. And we had to come up with like completely something new for every other school. It isn't just the same attack, but with now you're using a ice, the same attack, but now it's with electricity. No, it's going to be completely different. That's the goal. Like hopefully, like the same way with this Unarmed got this momentum. As you use Unarmed, you gain stacks of momentum. That's kind of the idea here, where it almost has its own little mini game it's playing within the skill. So for some of the Magic, what I would love to do is like even new UI components appear when you're doing that Magic related to how that Magic works. So hopefully some creative or some different weird things planned for Magic. Will all the schools be done this year? No, probably not. But that's a goal for this year. Get into Magic. Get some more schools of Magic. More schools. At least finish like Nature Magic and give it some endgame content. Okay, what's another goal this year? Another one is, it's coming soon, character creation revamp. And that's also on the roadmap. This is a big one. So that would mean like getting most of this done. Unique background skills. So every character when you start your game will have a skill that's just for them. I really do want each of the cards, each of the backgrounds to play differently and not just start a little different. So that'll be a big one, I think, where it matters. Like you play through the game on one character and you would want to do it again on another because it's that different. It feels like it matters. And then just some more options players been asking. I know hardcore mode is something players ask for a lot. I don't fully understand it. Like, why don't you guys just, if you want to play hardcore, just delete your save if you die? Why do you need the game to do it? I guess there's something psychological there. And the only reason it hasn't been added yet, you're like, what? You're like, Jake, why not just add a little checkbox that says hardcore mode and you delete your save? Because the reason is I want to do it good. I don't want to rush this. I think for hardcore mode, there needs to be a cool death screen where it's like, you died. Here's how you died. Here's your stats. It prints out all your stats. It gives some info. Without that, like with how the game currently is, I don't think hardcore mode would be as satisfying as it could. I want to make the UI feel good on death and to be really clear about when you're picking this option, like what you're selecting, and make it fit nicely into the character creation. Goals for this year. What else? My God, I want to do everything on this list. I'm going to say Gremlins, Fortresses, that's coming soon. And then we're going to go the Cultist faction. So they're all their dungeons. And then we'll have the 3/4 main factions. And then we can get into, after that, we can get into enhancing faction interplay actions. So this is another big one on my mind where if you've played Grand Theft Auto 2, I believe I've referenced it in past videos, but in that kind of game, the different factions are interacting with each other. So they're attacking each other, like sending... right now it's a little stale in that like their zones on the map, they shrink and grow. but it doesn't really have effect. I want it to have an effect on the game. I want them to attack a city and then you can't go in the city because it's been claimed, or summoning armies. I believe that's also on the roadmap. Armies, faction armies, just doing things. I like, as far as possible. The world feels like it's in chaos and having battles, and you're just thrown into this like random chaotic world, and you got to figure out what's going on and make the best of it. So this, I would say, is some big goals for this year. The best I can do without like promising a huge set of features. It's possible the version 1.0 isn't done, but I mean, we'll see. I'm very confident in the game, having worked on it now more than a year, and I have a good idea, I think, of how fast it can progress, and we're gonna get there. So yeah, I guess this is kind of my my summary for goals for this year, my thoughts on prioritizing updates, and the review for last year. I'm not sure else what I want to add. How long are we at? Okay, so we're already over 20 minutes. Maybe some other thoughts I will turn into another video. I'll just end this by saying thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you in the next video.